I have found the holy grail of marketing information, and she's sitting right across the table from me. This week, Lindsay Simms McKee is my guest, and she is a wealth of knowledge, has amazing insight into stuff, and her let's cut the crap demeanor made her someone, I see her nodding there, made her someone that I was instantly drawn to. If you want actual marketing information instead of just speculation, today is the day to watch or listen. Stay tuned. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
As lead faculty for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program in Cleveland, you get to see inside a lot of businesses.
Yes.
What is the biggest mistake you see most businesses make when it comes to marketing?
Oh, that's an easy one. So if it was the overall, what's the biggest mistake people make in business, period, that's complicated because the answer there, I'm going to give you that answer first. What's the biggest mistake people make overall? And that is bank balance accounting, meaning that the only thing they know about their money is looking at their bank account.
Is if there's some.
Yes. That is a whole other conversation. It's not about how much money people have. It's really more about the fact that there's just so much more information in your business about your money than what your bank account's going to show you. And so that's like the biggest overall business mistake that people make. I still make it to this day. I do not look at my reports nearly enough, but it's one of those things that if you actually start doing it, even quarterly, you'll go, oh, I can make so much better decisions based on real information instead of just, oh, well, there's some money in my account. You know, I don't think I can afford that.
That's where the leak in the boat is.
Right. Marketing, on the other hand, that's really easy. The biggest mistake people make with marketing is that they don't do it.
Oh.
Yes. So people think they're doing marketing all the time, and then they're not. And I'm like, you're not doing marketing. And then they come into the program, and we have to like tell them that they're not doing. And by we, I mean me. I have to tell them that they're not doing marketing, and then they don't like it very much. But it's okay. I'm okay with telling people that they're not doing
most
marketing.
Most people that think they're doing marketing
they think
aren't
they're
doing
doing marketing because they have a website and they have social media and
they're just putting it out there and they're like,
yeah, they're posting occasionally about some things and they're like, I'm doing a thing.
They're posting hope.
They're hoping, yes. They have a very serious hope strategy going on. And some of them are very serious about their hope strategy, too. They're like, we hope on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. And I'm like, that's still hope.
That sounds similar to what you alluded to before in their banking strategy. They hope that there's money in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, I'm going to open it up and today is going to be different. No, it's not. It's going to be exactly the same as it was yesterday.
One of those things where you kind of open it with one eye closed.
Like,
and
like halfway hiding
is it there?
Yeah.
AI, big topic.
Yes, one of my favorite topics, actually.
How do you see the role of human marketers evolving with that? And then the big thing with you teaching, because you teach at Baldwin Wallace, you do 10,000 small businesses. What will be in the most demand for people in the future? So the first piece is, where do you see it going for humans and what's going to be in demand?
So first, I'm a huge fan of AI. I've been using AI for years, actually, since before ChatGPT came along. There's been other GPTs. People don't realize that. But I personally love AI because what I think its actual job is to help human performance. So if we talk about productivity, we all watch 80 million YouTube videos about productivity and all these things. I'm like, and by we all, I mean crazy business people. They're like, I need to optimize my 8 hours. And by that, they mean 16. Like we're all trying to optimize. And one of the things I think AI does is that it gives us an advantage in time because AI can do things faster than us. It can't do it better, but it can do it faster. And so essentially moving us from blank cursor to something faster than we could do it ourselves. And that's part of, like blinking cursor, faster. And that's part of what I think the game for AI is. For marketers, if you're a smart marketer and you know what you're doing, again, AI can just accelerate the pace of your accomplishments. So if there's things that you want to do, like AI can help you edit faster, it can help you create captions faster, it can help you, but it's not about letting it create the captions for you. It's not about letting it create the content for you. It's about letting it know what it is that you know from your experience, from your education. You know that these things work. Now let AI help you pull those things together into elements that fit whatever your audience is and the platform and all the things that actually need to come together. AI can make that happen quickly if you have the knowledge. If you know nothing, AI is not going to be that helpful, and that's problematic. That's where most people are right now, is that their knowledge about a specific thing is very low. And so then they go into AI and they hear all this horrible advice on the internet, like, tell AI, like, I'm going to tell ChatGPT to pretend to be a professional marketer and then do this thing, right? Be a professional marketer and then give me a marketing plan.
And then they
do that.
And then they don't realize when it spits out absolute crap.
Yes, they don't know because they don't know. They don't know what a good marketing plan would contain. They don't know what a good strategy is. They don't know the difference between strategy and tactics. They don't know. And so whatever it gives them, they execute on. And because, they weren't doing marketing in the first place, they will likely get some sort of result. It just won't be what they're actually looking for, or even what could happen if they were working from a knowledge base.
And suddenly they're marketing geniuses.
Yes.
Because they increased their business by 8%.
Yes, they increased something. They maybe didn't even increase revenue, but they increased the eyeballs. We were just talking about that. I'm going to post and then I'm going to get all the likes. But when you go through them, are they the likes of the people who actually matter? Then it doesn't matter. Things have to.
And they're only going to see it in their bank account in 6 weeks. They aren't actually going to see an increase in anything. Or never.
Or
right.
never,
Right.
yeah.
They got some vanity metrics.
They got some vanity metrics. They feel good about themselves, and that's nice.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. You said something about that I want to great parlay into the next question here. SEO is changing.
It is.
As we get more of these AI answers, like Gemini's got AI overview. I personally use Perplexity for a ton of things. I'm asking it questions all day long. I'm sure if you looked at my Perplexity thread, you'd be like, this guy's whacked.
That was what I was going to say.
Yes, 100. Yes, yeah. We know each other. How is SEO and things like that? How do you see that changing?
Okay, so I think what's really happening is that people are starting to realize that SEO always meant something other than what they thought it meant.
I agree with that.
So search engine optimization is what the term SEO stands for. What most people hear in their ears when someone says SEO is website optimization. Those two things are not the same thing. And so now, if you have a business, you need to do search engine optimization, meaning that basically every aspect of your business needs to be optimized for search across any platform, period. That's the difference. To me, that's a delightful change because everyone needed to be doing that anyway, instead of focusing only on website optimization. Because let's say, I'll take Pedal Stompers as an example. Your website is how many years old?
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter, right? So if it's 6, 7, 8, 10.
We may have customers that are younger than our website.
There you go. So the problem is, though, that whatever your website is, however old your website is, there's two challenges. If it's very young, the internet doesn't know about it, so boo, you're not going to get found. If it's very old and hasn't been updated, the internet knew about it back when it started and has no new information about it at all. So both of those are the same challenge. You're not optimized for search, but the website itself is just simply not optimized for search. The bigger thing is that you don't just have a website. You have a website, you have a Facebook page, you have an Instagram account, you got TikTok, you got a YouTube channel, you have your personal LinkedIn, you have your business LinkedIn, you have all of these platforms. If you have Pinterest, if you have any number of places that people can find you. Then there's all the other things, Quora, Reddit, Perplexity, all of the other places where people are in the internet looking for answers. The good thing about AI is that AI, especially Google's AI, is pulling from all of those sources, all of them. And if you are optimized across multiple places instead of just your website, then the likelihood that your answers are going to get delivered up, what you want people to know about you, very high. But if, on the other hand, you have only been focused on either the website or only social media, you get what you get. I think that more people need to realize that you're not optimizing anymore for just your website. You're optimizing across an entire internet of search, not just your website.
because that information will get pulled into search one way or another.
One way or another.
Interesting.
One way or another.
Speaking of which, you're doing a nice job of unwittingly going to my next question.
Yes, because if you can tell everyone, I am completely unprepared.
Your first day doing something like this.
Yes, I've never done this before in my life.
Video. That seems to play into that strategy.
It does an awful lot.
What do you suggest for people like that haven't done something with video? I mean, this is a leading question, isn't it?
A little bit. I'm going to pretend it's not. So the real thing that I would say is there are plenty of people, again, let's talk about the people who think they're doing marketing, but they're not. For the most part, people are doing a thing thinking that it's taking them somewhere or going, and it's not having the results that they want it to have. So what I would suggest is for video, first, if you're not doing video, start, period, end of sentence. Like, just start.
Stop. Yes.
Yes. Stop not doing video. Please start doing video. The challenge there is that so many people don't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
And as much as we prior to the start, we talked about how people hate the sound of their voices. They hate the look on their face. They're like, why is my mouth doing that? Like I have all sorts of issues with like body image. And I'm like, just don't look at the camera. Let's say it's going to be all right. Like
we're not on that giant TV screen over there.
I'm pretending it's not there. We all have issues, right? But the funny thing is, like, I've been posting more videos online these past couple of weeks.
Yep.
And it's astonishing to me the number of people who come on just to tell me how pretty I am, which is hilarious to me because I am like posting I'm like blind posting practically because I have to just get the content out there. I cannot look at myself because if I do, I'm just like, why do I look like that? And so, first of all, for everyone who needs to be on camera, everyone feels like that. So someone is looking at me right now going, what is she talking about? She's gorgeous. And I'm like, whatever. I know what my face looks like to me and it ain't in that camera. And so it's like, we all have those issues.
It's different glasses.
Period. Yes. I'm like, it's all, but either way, like, I'm just going to hate it. Or, I know what I feel like I sound like, and I don't sound like that. So you just kind of have to get over yourself. That's one of my favorite statements to make is everyone needs to get over themselves and get on camera. And then for those of you where it doesn't matter if you're the person on camera or not, turn the camera around and start pointing it at other people. So I was just talking to someone who has a popcorn shop in Chagrin Falls. And I was like, point the camera at all of that line of people coming into your shop. Yeah. Point the camera at the kettle while you're making the strawberries and cream popcorn. Point the camera at the guy who's covering the Oreos and chocolate, like start capturing the stuff that is happening because people love that footage. They love the behind the scenes. And then you can start putting stuff on top of it, like information and telling people about what's going on in the business while they're watching the thing that they actually want to watch, which is the strawberry and cream popcorn being made.
You had to pick food, didn't you?
Yes.
You're making me hungry.
But it's a thing. But even if you don't have a food, and like you're right, because then there's someone in there going, but I don't have a food business. I work with dogs. And then I'm like, are you kidding me? Dogs are like the second most popular thing in the internet. There's babies, dogs, and food. Like,
dogs make everything better.
They make everything, but stop even complaining. But then those of you who have stuff that you're like, I can't record this because I'm a clinical therapist. Okay. Then I need you to go into the internet and look at all of those lovely and amazing clinical therapists who have fantastic Instagram and who have fantastic TikTok and are never showing a single client. At this point, there's only excuses. All the stuff you're coming up with is just an excuse. Either get on camera or point the camera, but you need to be on camera. Let's talk about why for SEO. I know you were going to ask another question, but I have to answer.
No, go for it, please.
About why. Because the internet only cares about words. Everyone thinks the internet cares about pictures. It does not actually care about pictures at all. It's the reason why Instagram moved towards video very quickly. Is because the internet cares about words. And if you're on camera talking, you're giving the internet words. What did we just talk about? Search engine optimization. Search engines care about words.
Yep.
It's the only thing they care about. So if you're putting words into the internet, those words are being transcribed, and then the internet knows more about how to serve your customer up or how to serve you up to your customer. But if you're not putting that content out there, what do we got?
The other thing I like that you said with the video stuff is go look at other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Because people, I've heard this in so many cases where people are like, well, I don't want to do what they did. Well, put your little spin on it. But the other thing is the likelihood of someone seeing their stuff and your stuff is really slim.
Extremely slim.
I wouldn't copy word for word.
No, because that's stealing.
Right. but we don't want to do what some things are doing right now, some softwares are doing right now. But in the same sense, don't be afraid of it.
No.
Go do so, because you're going to have your own spin on it.
And on top of that, the other thing I love to see people do is go across, like, cross genre. So if you are a therapist, go look and see what the finance gurus are talking about. Not what they're talking about, because you're not going to talk about that topic, but you're going to look at their formatting. You're going to look at how they're producing their content and go, I could do that. I could do that with therapy. I could do that talk, that same. So, the idea, I'm going to start doing this thing on TikTok where I answer questions about AI. And I'm going to do it in the format of this music. There's a guy in London, I think, who owns a record shop. And his kid records him answering record shop questions like, what's your favorite album? And things like that. I'm taking that exact format and I'm going to do my TikToks in that format because it's really friendly. It's great. It's very off the cuff, even though, of course, it will be 100% staged when I do it. But it's going to be, the appearance of it is very friendly. And I liked it, so I'm stealing that from a record shop. But I'm not going to be talking about music. I'm going to be talking about marketing and AI and all sorts of other things. So look at what people are doing in other industries. You don't have to take directly from your own industry. You can go across. Find someone else. Find someone in another country doing something cool in some other area and go, okay, I'm going to steal that format because it's great.
I've always said I am not cool enough to think of something like that. So I'm going to go find someone else who has.
Yes. We need to stop. Someone already invented the wheel, dude. Just go find it.
Go use
put it on your car.
Yeah, put it on the vehicle.
Yes.
Put it on the whatever you need to put it on.
Yes.
Put the wheel on you can roll it wherever, up whatever hill you need to roll it up.
Yep.
This one, I have been looking forward to this question for you for a while. What concerns do you have about the future of marketing?
Oh, I have so many concerns.
I figured you did, and I was
so
really excited to kind of take a peek inside of what's going on in there.
So my biggest concern is the same one that I've had for a while, which is sort of, again, going back to something we talked about earlier, which is the idea of people who are not professionals feeling like they're professionals because they're getting semi-professional results. This happens in the internet all the time. And unfortunately, then those people go out and start their own businesses and then get hired by people and then do a horrible job because they don't actually know how to do marketing. And
those people hate marketing.
Yeah. And then, yes. So then the people who hired them, who hated marketing in the first place, hired someone reluctantly, paid the pennies that person who didn't know what they were doing charged because that's the only thing they could afford to charge because they don't know what they're doing. The whole vicious cycle. And then we have more and more small businesses, very specifically, who then hate marketing because they had a bad experience with a marketer who probably wasn't a marketer in the first place. This is a kind of chronic fear. And the reason why I started teaching.
Interesting.
Yeah, I started teaching because I was like, I want to contribute to solving that problem instead of being just angry at the fact that it's going to happen.
So this is your outlet for your anger.
Yeah, my outlet for my anger is to just be like, look, I'm going to teach y'all everything I know. I'm going to do it for free because I can't. I cannot stand the idea of people being like, I'm a professional marketer because I have a TikTok with 100,000 followers. And I'm like, or you are a very young and attractive person who has a TikTok with 100,000 followers and who got very lucky. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with luck. Luck is great.
Yes.
But it is not a strategy. Neither is youth or beauty because all three of those things run out.
Yeah. Two of those I didn't have. And one of them was just, maybe I wasted that one.
I don't even want to know what the three you're talking about. But I do believe it doesn't matter who you are, all three run out at some point.
Yes.
And so please don't bank on any of them. If your entire game is youth, beauty, and luck, then you gonna have a real short career. Real short. So
especially if trends change.
Yes, because they do all the time.
Yes.
All the time. As soon as the trend changes,
You're
like
out.
we don't all have Kardashian money, right? One of the things the Kardashians do is they physically change their bodies according to trends.
Yep.
And that's something that people don't understand. That's part of how they maintain their popularity, is that they physically change their appearance to fit with whatever is currently trending. I ain't got that kind of money. Like, nor do I want to go through that much physical pain in order to do that. Like, I'm not interested in that. And so, I would rather go based on, I don't know, knowledge and skill.
Yeah. Modern medicine is amazing.
It
cannot fix this.
First of all, it could. No, I'm just kidding. You don't need to be fixed. You're perfect, Josh.
And likewise,
Thank
that's
you.
why we're both able to sit here on camera like this and
with
stare
so
at each
much
other across the
confidence.
table. Right. And be totally confident and not think about the cameras.
Not thinking about the cameras.
Not thinking about...
So yeah, that's my biggest fear is incompetence leading to small businesses hating marketing, even more so than they do now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, it's interesting because I've always talked about it with marketing is when let's say a factory that you make widgets, it's pretty easy to justify a new machine that's going to make more widgets because I can go out there, even if it's not working, I can go out there and I can look at it on the factory floor and be like, machine.
Value.
Right.
Yes,
I paid
it's
something.
Worth money.
Right. It's sitting there. When you buy marketing, you can't walk out on the factory floor and see it. I mean, you can be like, I've got a pretty website, I've got videos coming out, but those don't have that tangible aspect to them that so many business owners, they think they need.
Yeah.
And it's
completely understandable. Like, as someone, again, I am a business owner, so I completely understand. You want something to show for it. You want something that makes you feel as though you weren't wasting your money.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, marketing takes time. So it's very much more like, I don't know, I mean, it's got gestation in there, right? Like you
It's like an elephant.
plant yes, it's like an elephant. You plant the seed and then it has to grow. Like, things have to happen over time. And if you have a good marketer working with you, then they will give you an idea of what to expect, what things are coming, what you might see as an indicator that there's some value coming down the line, or be able to show you some way to get some instant value out of it. Like, there's some ways to do marketing to make things happen faster, even if the longer term stuff is going to take its time. But again, you have to know what you're doing, and otherwise...
It's funny because it takes me back to a client that we have right now. He's been a great client, and we've had amazing luck with him. We have grown his YouTube following 300%.
Lovely.
He had 2 followers.
You're like, it's a fantastic change. We have how many now? 12?
We're up to 8.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
I'm like, we've grown.
300%.
300%.
Yeah.
We're up, and I'm like, I'm not putting that we've grown his marketing 300% because we don't expect those results for everyone.
No.
If you have 2 subscribers, I'm pretty sure we can get you. I mean, if I've got to go create, if I've got to go create 6 YouTube accounts, I can guarantee that we can get you to that 8. But it's funny because we talk about it in the podcasting stuff. It's a slow burn.
It is.
You're going to put a podcast out, and your mom's going to watch it.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Eventually, your mom, maybe a cousin watches it.
Yeah.
Then you get that one rando person that's also going to watch.
Yeah.
But it's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn. And I can see your sheet, so I'm not going to answer one of your questions in advance. But one of the things that I think that people need to understand about all marketing is that there's a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
So when you're having your marketer work for you, or if you're doing your marketing yourself, part of our job as the business owners is to participate.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that drives me nuts about small business owners, is that I will have small business owners who are like, I saw that you posted that thing on my social media. This would have been years ago when I was still doing people's marketing. I saw that you posted that thing and I really loved it. That was so great. And I'm like, why didn't you like it? And they were like, oh, I can't like my own post. Do you want me to physically harm you? Like, are you kidding me? What do you mean you can't like your own post? Like, is that beneath you? Like, I don't understand.
Just mash the button.
What is happening here? And there are people who will do that. Like, I'm sure you have people who are like, they have a podcast that you're producing and putting out there, and they're not watching it themselves. They're not sharing it. They're not doing they're not liking their own. People, participate in your own marketing. Like, you need to actively be out there as an advocate for yourself. Ma'ams and sirs.
Like, and in a lot of cases, comment on my podcast.
Please.
I play the whole thing because you want to make sure it goes through. I typically have it in the bedroom while I'm in the shower.
Yeah.
Because I've usually watched it 3 or 4 times by the time we've edited it, and I do not want to hear myself anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
we have to. And even if you're not editing your own content, if someone else, all the more, if someone else is editing your content, please listen or watch it all the way through. But you wouldn't believe how many people I've created content for over the years who are like, I say abdicate. They abdicate their marketing. Yep. So they hand you the thing and then they walk away. And you're like, no, you have to actively participate because you're half the battle.
It's your business.
It's your business. If you can get your own friends and family in the game, then that's half the battle, because there's someone in there that has a friend of their own that is your audience. But if you're not sharing it, then that third party isn't getting the content. Please share your own stuff. Please like your own stuff. Please comment on your own post. I know it's weird, but do it anyway.
The moral of this is don't treat your marketing like your accounting.
Please, and then stop treating your accounting like your accounting. Both. Stop walking away from your business. Like, we only want to do the stuff in our business that's sexy and fun. Like,
right.
I want to do.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
All I want to do is sit here and have a podcast with you because this is fun.
This is fun.
I don't want to go make 10 phone calls. I don't want to look at my accounting.
You don't want to look at your analytics on your website. You don't want to look at your No one wants to do those things.
None of those things.
But you know what? You got to do them anyway. You work out like we're working out human.
Yeah.
And look at you until you work out. Plus, I know you. But I'm like not a working out human. I want to be desperately. But one of the things, if you're a working out person, there's something that people who don't have to acknowledge. If I'm looking at my scale, if I'm looking at my body, I'm looking at my results, and I'm not willing to do the work to look like you,
sure,
then some part of me has to either acknowledge it and accept it, like I'm going to get what I get out of this body if I don't do anything with it. Or I'm going to have to put in the work and then look at the results in the face. Like, instead of looking at it like, oh, I'm going to passively experience this. No, if you're lifting in order to get stronger, you're going to have to see, okay, am I going from 100 pounds to 120 to 140 to 180?
Right.
Or because if you're not paying attention to those numbers, how do you know if you're getting stronger? How do you know if it's getting any better? It's the same exact thing. If we're not willing to pay attention to our metrics, if we're not willing to look at this stuff, then you're back to hope.
Yeah. No, you're 100%
you're
right.
Back to hope. And I'm like, it's not a strategy. You have to like pay attention.
Yeah. Something else I was just thinking of. It would take a lot more than weightlifting for you to look like me.
So much more. If anyone is just listening and not watching, I encourage you to head over to YouTube to see the juxtaposition between the two of us.
We look a little different.
Just we have a very similar haircut.
It's sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yours. I like the color in yours. Yeah. The fact that you have yours is that's one of the
it's
big.
The curls. They're hiding a multitude of sins.
I'm happy for you. I truly am.
I am too.
What advice would you give to someone that's looking to build their own brand from start? Because there's been people that have say, I'm doing marketing.
Yeah.
When they need to look at it and say, oh, crap, I really need to build this.
Yeah, I need to build a brand. I need to build, not just build a company, but build a brand. Not just have a product or a service, but build a brand.
Right.
I've been talking about this a lot recently, and I would say the biggest thing that we need to do is pay attention to how we want people to feel.
Ooh, I like that.
How do we want people to feel? So your brand is a emotional representation of whatever it is you actually do. It's not the physical stuff. So your colors, I rant to my students about this all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter what exact color brown. Like, people go, This is the wrong brown you used in that social media post. And I'm like, are you not familiar with the fact that literally every screen shows color differently? So if you see that brown and you feel like it's different, then it may or may not be different. It might just be your screen. And so the idea of the colors and the logos and the fonts and all that stuff being that's not your brand.
No.
It's not your brand. Your business card isn't your brand. Your shirt isn't your brand. I'm saying all these things because Josh is like a very like kitted out logo person. Like every time I see you wearing your shirt, I think like, I know that's a wardrobe issue.
It's more of a wardrobe issue than a brand issue.
It's like I got 4 shirts and they all have my logo.
I don't trust myself to dress myself.
He dresses himself very well in merch. And so as a function of that though, when I have to talk to people and talk them out of caring about that stuff. Because that stuff is great. And if you can do it, because like, I honestly wish I didn't like fashion as much as I did so that I could wear my own logo all the time, because Lord Jesus, that would be easy. But I like myself in green. I look good.
You always dress well. I'm always like, oh, I wish I had a quarter of that fashion sense, but I don't. Therefore, I wear my logo.
I'm working on it. But my point in saying all that is, I think we need to care more about the stuff that actually matters, which is the emotion. Like when people think of pedal stoppers, what do they feel? Not what are they thinking? Like not what are the words that come into their mind? Podcast studio. Yes, they need to think that. We need to make them think that.
Yeah.
But what do they feel about the podcast studio? And then what do you want them to feel? So it's a combination of those things, because if you're doing branding appropriately, then you're going to get people to feel a certain way about you. And then sometimes the other lesson is, if they feel a certain way and it's not how you want them to feel, either go with it because that's how they actually feel, or work your darndest to change it. And when I say feel, I don't mean they feel angry, like, you know, like, I mean, like sometimes people have bad experiences. All business owners, if you don't have a good somebody was pissed off at me story that was legit, then you are doing something wrong, because it's like, that's just what business is. And I was talking about frauds earlier. I'm like, I could make a list of people who think I'm a fraud, like, because it is just real. But at the same time, that's not what I mean when I say how people feel. I mean, like, do they look at you and think authority? Do they feel comfortable? Do they feel happy? Do they feel sad? Are they supposed to feel sad?
Right.
Are they supposed to feel comfortable? Are they supposed to feel happy? And then how do you turn everything that you do towards that thing that they're supposed to feel so that you can make that happen? And if you're like, but it's a podcast studio and they're not supposed to feel anything, that is completely and utterly
wrong.
Yes, it is not true. People buy based on emotion.
Yep.
And so if we're not making them feel something, then we lose. Period.
No, 100%. It's funny when you say that, because the two studios even have a different feel, and the other one that we produce out of, very different feels, and people will drive further to one studio because they're like, oh, I like the feel of this one. Like, yeah, that 100% makes sense.
It's all about the vibes.
Some quick last questions for you that are going to be interesting. What's one of the most rewarding aspects of your work?
Oh, okay. So one of the most rewarding aspects of my work, I'll use the 10KSB example. So I've been in some form or fashion a part of the program for almost the entire 10 years. It's been 11 almost years it's been in existence. So I started as a panelist on their social media marketing panel in like cohort 3. So very, very early on.
Wow.
And I did it almost every single cohort for 6 years before I joined as the marketing faculty. And then I did that for a few years before I became the lead faculty. So I've been some part of the program. The answer to your question is, when people who I have almost no recollection of whatsoever come up to me and go, I did that thing you told me about in class 7 years ago. And it's been working so great. And I'm like, who are you and what is this thing you're talking about? I love that.
Sure.
I love being at a Cavs game and having a completely random stranger walk up to me and go, I was at that event at Jumpstart and you told me to do X. Do you remember that? They're like,
sure don't. Glad it helped.
And they're like, I raised my hand and you answered my question, and from there I was able to do this. And I like it even more. This is going to get me in trouble, but I love it even more when it happens. So there's a woman right now who is a CPR training. That's her business, is CPR training. And she saw me at an event and literally waited in the parking lot with hopes that she was going to run into me. And she did. And then from there, she emailed me until I emailed her back, which, if you know me, that could take a while. I think it took me like 2 years to email that girl back.
And that was the fast version.
And that was the fast one, yeah. So I emailed her back, and we started connecting. And she, over the course of the 2 years since we met, she has taken advice after advice after advice from me. And her business is just like totally blown up. And that is massively satisfactory. Like, I love that.
The funny thing is as you mentioned that, I know exactly who you're talking about because I have seen her stuff and I am familiar. Yep. That's awesome.
She went from being like a lady in the garage trying to figure out how to help people to now being like she's blowing up all over the place because she's doing the work.
She is. Mm-hmm. What are some resources that you recommend for people to keep an eye on over the next 6 months? Where people can learn and stay up to date on stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of shameless plugging. Well, actually, I'm a huge fan of shameless plugging for other people, but then I never do it for myself. I would say if you are interested in like keeping an eye on something that you can get a lot of free information, I have challenged myself to.
I was about to say.
I literally have challenged myself to put out a video a day, every other day, something in that. Y'all, I got like 4 jobs. So a video a day or every other day on LinkedIn and Instagram where I am just teaching what I teach in my classroom. Yeah. And that's, to me, the fact that I'm like challenging myself to basically just repeat myself on camera is the part that's working. So far, it's been working really well. I've actually recorded several videos just based on what my lessons are in class and how they can apply to small businesses. So if you're interested in that, I think that following me on Instagram or on LinkedIn would be a really great place to start. But then in addition to that, if you're just like, what's something that, you know, I think it's going to blow up, or I think it's going to be huge in the future, and, you know, I want other people to know about it. Y'all, AI is changing every single day. Mm-hmm. And so if I were you, if I were a person who had no knowledge of AI whatsoever, I think that I would start by going to YouTube. This is horrible, but also fantastic advice. Go to YouTube and start watching there's videos of people who are the top 6 productivity AI, the top 5 video AI. And start watching those, like the ones where they do a little list of different AI for different things, because I think that people think AI is one thing and it is not. And so if you are interested in getting into that, head over to YouTube and start watching those. The 6 top AI for academics, like start looking at those things, because if I was to just simply tell you, get on Perplexity, for someone out there, that's a horrible answer because it's not useful to them. So whatever your thing is, start looking for the top AI in your area that you can actually start using. If you're not going to use them, at the very least, know about them going forward.
Because they may get to a point where you could use them.
Yes, absolutely.
What's one thing that you want people to know or to start doing?
Either or both. What I would love for people to know is that marketing doesn't have to be hard.
Love that.
It doesn't. It really, you know, I tell my students on day 1.5, like 2, the first thing I say on the second day of class is like, because it's the first thing I do.
Carry the one.
Carry the one. On the first day of class, it's like introductions. But on the second day of class, I'm like, marketing is about empathy. If you cannot understand the customer because you're judging them, then you lose. Right? So often we judge our customers. And when I say judge, I mean like we are all judging somebody. But what I mean like changing your behavior based on the judgment, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can look at someone's preferences neutrally, understand them, like I said, if the studio makes someone sad, looking at it and going, okay, sadness isn't what I was aiming at. So how can I understand why they're sad and what, because it could be a tiny tweak. It could just be the like temperature of the color. Like it could be the tiniest thing. But if we're not willing to be empathetic, then we're not willing to see what the problems are and really understand it from the customer's perspective. Because the second you solve the problem, you're no longer the customer. So that's one of the other life lessons that business owners really need to get. The second you solve the problem, you're no longer your customer. So you need to understand your customer they've got different issues, their problems evolve.
Makes sense.
Be empathetic.
Love it.
Yeah.
That all being said, that's a boatload of information today.
It is.
and it's wonderful. This will be one of the few podcasts that I will go back and watch again. I appreciate all the information. I'm pretty sure everyone out there does also. I would tell you to do the like, subscribe, but you guys already know that. That being said, do me a favor, take care of yourself. And if you can, take care of someone else. I will see you very soon.